Hey everybody, and welcome back to Interrogation. You will be deceived. This time there's a bomb at some kind of ammunitions plant that we've learned about, so let's see what's going on. Linda Bailey has confessed that the next Liberation Front attack is imminent. She has directed us towards a weapons factory outside the city. District police were dispatched to evacuate the area, but once at the location were informed by the private security agents employed by the factory that all the workers inside had already been evacuated. That's kind of unusual. Did the Liberation Front want to save their lives somehow? We've also been informed that the cybersecurity systems of the factory have been breached, allowing for the special access needed to plant the explosives and force the lockdown, while also restricting any other digital attempts to enter. So someone's went in, hacked the computers, gotten inside, planted the explosives, and locked everybody else out. This must be an effort from the Liberation Front to prevent us from interfering with explosion, which means the explosives are already in place, set to detonate at any time. Our main priority is to enter the facility to defuse the explosives, but our experts estimate that they will not be able to breach the lockdown without unrestricted digital access. As such, we have gathered together the only people who have the passwords required to initiate the lockdown and limit access rights. They are our primary suspects. 1. Aaron King. Aaron King is the founder and the major shareholder of the parent company owning the facility. He is a known entrepreneur with multiple holdings and investments locally and internationally. His factory is one of the largest military arms producers in the state, with multiple lucrative state contracts. On the side, he also operates several military contracting companies, handling logistics and security in hostile foreign theaters of operation. As the founder and owner, he is one of the 3 people who had the passwords required to initiate the lockdown and restrict access. He has agreed to talk to us and assist us in our investigation. I mean, if he was innocent, wouldn't he just give us the password? Or is he going to, throw us some kind of shade about not helping the police because they're the man or something? I mean, if you don't want your plant exploded, just give us the password, dude. Unless you're in on it. We have one Stepan Muradian. Okay, Stepan. Okay, your name says Stepan here, but now we're just calling you Steve. I think we'll just call you Steve for now. Steve is the chief of security at the factory and has been in contact with the authorities since our arrival on site. Our background check has found that he has been in the employment of Aaron King for over 6 years and has handled not just on-site security, but has also been deployed in war zone areas to coordinate weapons transport security through compromised areas. He has no criminal record, and his mandatory psychological, there you go, that's how you pronounce that word, psychological checkups for his gun permits are clean. As chief of security, he had access to the passwords required to initiate the lockdown, as well as the means to set up explosives undetected. He has agreed to talk with us, but has mentioned that he is under a non-disclosure agreement when it comes to the factory's production and clients. Well, we don't need to know that information, dude. We just need you to give us the password. And, unfortunately, one Tab Thompson. Boss, sorry about the typos. Tab is usually the one writing these. Well, Tab's file shows that they have been working on different law enforcement agencies since they got out of college. Before they were with us, fighting against the Liberation Front, they worked for some agency that locks up tax evaders. And before that, they worked at National Security Agency, which essentially audits the security systems of commercial agents that fall under national security law. Essentially, they made sure that these places respect all the protocols for secrecy and stuff, I guess. One of the audits happened to be exactly at the factory that's going to blow up now. Tab would have known the confidential security information at the time of the audit and could have theoretically used it to initiate the lockdown. The fact that the lockdown initiated within the similar time frame while we were obtaining Bailey's confession might suggest an infiltrated Liberation Front member. So is Tab a spy? I refuse to believe it. But I suppose we have to be open to all possibilities. And surely there's going to be a time. Yeah, 10-minute timer. Aaron, Steve, and Tab. Let's start off with the CEO. Surely he'll be willing to help us, right? I mean, if everything's gone If he's clean, then he should be willing to help us. Good afternoon, Mr. King. I understand you've been briefed. I assure you we were doing everything we can to remedy the situation. Mr. King, we have a locked factory that's going to blow up, and you're the only one with the keys. We have a few questions for you. Or I got to the point in my life where I have to save guns. Now I want to... That's not how I want to spend my evening. Well, let's just be very polite. Good afternoon, Mr. King. You're the city's finest, there's no doubt about that, my friend. You know what? When you start calling me my friend right off the bat, it leads me to believe you're not my friend. There's something, like, off-putting about that. Like, you're trying to get me on your good side. I know we're doing that to you, too, but you shouldn't be the one doing it to us. You kept a low profile for someone of your stature. Do you mind a few personal questions? How much do you know about the current situation? This is quite a large factory you own. I have some questions about how it operates. Have you heard about the Liberation Front? Well, let's skip the personal questions. How much do you know about the current situation? Oh god, that's a lot of questions. My people briefed me on the lockdown and the planted explosives. That's all I know. How come the perimeter was empty when the first officers arrived? Yeah, how come it was already evacuated? I honestly don't know all the details, but I understand all the employees were evacuated before the lockdown. How do these security codes work? I'm not an expert. All I know that it's supposed to be some sort of strong password. Is there any way to access the codes without them appearing in the logs? But could someone have done that? They're like, I don't know. No, absolutely not. This should be the only way for security reasons, my friend. You're trying to pass as a businessman. If you want me to buy it, you need to tell me what your contingency plan is. Let's hit him with that. I mean, that's a little harsh, but let's hit him with that. I will call upon favors to gather money and pay for repairs. A real businessman has many avenues. All right, let's back up. This is quite a large facility you own. I have some questions about it, how it operates. What sort of weaponry does it produce? Is there military equipment currently stored inside? How many people are employed? I'm at a loss over this case. Who do you think would be the inside man to help the Liberation Front? What kind of weaponry do you produce? We're specialized in small arms manufacturing as well as high-end electronics, detectors, communication equipment, that sort of thing. Who are your clients? I cannot tell you that, except for they are bigger than any company on this planet. All I hope is you take my refusal for what it is, a contractual obligation. Do you have military equipment in there? We have a large shipment due tomorrow, stored in the pickup area. I dislike the idea of not honoring a contractual agreement. Who do you think would be the inside man to help the Liberation Front? Reality often eludes us. When we think we've figured it out, we find the events slip between our fingers. Perhaps you'll find answers with the auditors who visited us a while back. Okay, so you're trying to put blame on Tab. Mind if I ask a few personal questions? What are your guiding principles when it comes to doing business? What other business do you currently own or operate? How do you feel about being a weapons manufacturer? Life would sure be rosy with your kind of money, King. How do you feel about being a weapons manufacturer? One would be foolish to attach morals to a tool, my friend. Surely the question of feeling arises only when a man uses that tool. Alright, what do you know about the Liberation Front? I do my best to keep myself informed about any factors that may affect my operation, so yes, you have heard of them. What do you know about their operations? Just what I read was in the news. Have you ever been in contact with one of them? I might have been, friend, who knows? It's not the sort of thing you'd mention at a cocktail party, though, don't you think? Why do you think the Liberation Front chose this time to do a victimless attack? We found out about the factory from Liberation Front members right as the threat call was made. Do you think we may have a mole? Well, it sure does sound like it. I'm not getting anywhere with you, dude. Let's move on with to Steve. Glad you could come in, Steve. I just have a few questions about how these rats got into your factory, if that's fine with you. Mr. Meridian, the current security breach is your direct responsibility. I understand. A few questions about how something like this could happen. Let's Let's hit him with that middle one. I'm happy to be working with another professional in this case. Let's debrief on the current situation and develop a plan of action, shall we? Oh, we'll go with that. Well, yeah, let's butter him up. There we go. I can have my people talk to your people since you insist on doing this personally. Let's be as brief as possible. I have some questions regarding your activity as Chief of Security. What's your responsibilities? I'm responsible for implementing the security system and protocols that Mr. King requires, as well as personal training and many other things. It seems that only someone in your position could have orchestrated something like this. It seems that whoever did this was intimately aware of your procedures. They must have been someone close to you. It seems that you are terrible at your job, especially if these people were so easily able to circumvent. No, someone must have been really close to you to understand. Yeah, he's opening up a little bit. It does seem like the most likely explanation, but this conclusion does not help us in any way. Tell me about your team. They are experts with decades of experience in private security, thoroughly vetted. I trust every one of them. We also use the most reliable modern equipment available. We've already wasted like a fifth of our time. What security threats do you normally have to handle? Most of what we do is preemptive, being prepared for certain situations such as espionage or sabotage. We've never encountered anything close to this before. Let's discuss the current situation. We are currently compiling a comprehensive assessment, but we can discuss what we know. What kind of security do you have on site? We have a comprehensive multi-layered cybersecurity defense system combined with state-of-the-art surveillance setup, as well as experienced, trained security personnel on site. Tell us about the access codes. Do you think I'll just lay down a blueprint of our entire security network just like that? That's private information. It's modern. It's expensive. It's bulletproof. That's what you need to know. Well, we're trying to prevent the place from being blown up, sir. I don't give a crap about this. You need to help us. How well encrypted are these access codes? Let me put it like this. It would take a few hundred years using the best available computing power to break this encryption. Who has the access codes? I cannot disclose such personal, sensitive information. But I can tell you it's more complicated than just a password. You should never trust this digital stuff anyways. That was your first mistake. Are these codes the only way to access the mainframe? Absolutely. Just like your car keys are the only intended way to get into your car. You said the only intended way. Is there unintended ways to get in? How come there are no employees inside? We received a convincing threat call and we managed to evacuate the factory before lockdown initiated. What did the caller actually say? That there are several explosives placed near our ammunition storage, that they have complete control of the security mechanisms, and we have 15 minutes to evacuate. Do you remember any identifying traits? They were probably using advanced voice distortion equipment, probably AI assisted. Their caller ID was untraceable. What made the threat convincing? They spoke with great detail about things that could only known if they really did breach our security. The threat call was made exactly at the same time we found out about it. Do you think there might be someone inside the police? That's an odd question. He's getting a little freaking out right now. Maybe. I don't know. Well, I guess he's not freaking out. He's unfreaking out. Maybe. I don't know. If you're interested in employing my boys and me to help you with counter intel, we can discuss this after we stop the bomb. Give me your standard procedure for fixing this. The one we have applied. Evacuate and collaborate with authorities. That's garbage, dude. Tell me about the Liberation Front. What have you heard about them? I wouldn't be doing my job properly otherwise if I hadn't heard about them. Have you had any contact with them? Not intentionally or knowingly as far as I can remember. Have you come in touch with any of their materials? There's no way to know if an online piece comes directly from a Liberation Front member or a deluded sympathizer. We're really wasting some time here. Let's discuss the symbolism of this terrorist attack. What symbolism? Like they are bombers that don't like bombs? It's as simple as and stupid as that. Do you feel this attack is a symbolic aim at capitalism? Do you feel this attack is symbolically aimed against warfare in general? Do you feel this attack is symbolically aimed against the government? Do you think this is against warfare in general? I guess. Alright, skipping. Tab. Tab, I'm sorry you have to go through this. You wouldn't be here if it were up to me. You know how I work. You know there's no point in lying to me, so don't try. I'm sure you understand why, with the limited leads we have, you have to be here. I mean, you wouldn't be here if up to me? No, I said we have to bring her in, so I'm sure you understand. Information generates correlation, which allows for informed deduction, which can be used to confront deception. I understand, yes. Alright, I have some questions about your role as a security auditor. They state in a monotone voice. I am listening. What were your responsibilities? I verified if the security procedures, equipment, and staff were following the government's requirements and protocols. What were your conclusions? They were mostly abiding by the national security protocols. Their manufacturing process was compliant with safety standards. There were some irregularities when it came to security personnel training. Oh, tell me about those irregularities. Who commissioned the audit? Did you find any explosives or chemicals we might have to worry about? Don't you find it suspicious that the Liberation Front targeted a factory audited by an officer from the police task force assembled against them? I mean, I don't know. Could just be a coincidence. I'd like to say in this case, I'm glad that I can trust the audit was done right. You're a good professional, Tab. Thank you. I also trust you'll get to the bottom of this. I will help as much as I can. Alright, so they're a little more open. That's fine. I mean, they should be fully open to me, right? I know you compiled the briefing on the situation, but I have some questions. If there's an aspect you feel I've left out, I will gladly share any additional relevant information. How do the security codes work? I am unable to give out security details that I obtained through my audits. Everything I can share is already in the case files. What else can I clarify? Who has access to the codes? The factory's owner and chief of security are the ones that held these codes on a permanent basis besides the auditor. Do you have access to the codes? I did need them to go do the audit, yes. I mean, do you still have access to the codes? Did they change the codes? Is there any way to circumvent the security system? It was likely that it was completely circumvented using the access codes Meridian King and I have, because there are no access logs. Someone created a back door. I'm not getting anywhere, guys. Why is the factory empty? Where are the workers? The factory was evacuated almost immediately after we got the call. A bit too big of a coincidence, don't you think? I agree the timing should raise suspicion about a mole within the police department. Yes. Where are the factory workers? I don't have sufficient information to come up with a plausible explanation. Perhaps they had ways to evacuate the personnel which circumvented the locked doors. I need some advice in case we don't manage to defuse the bomb. How can we spin this to the press? I'd like your opinion as a colleague. Who do you think is behind this? Lack of data impedes me from formulating an informed opinion. It would be unethical to influence you with blind hunches. I don't think I'm going to solve this one because I have no time left. I waste half my time and I haven't gotten anywhere. Let's talk a bit about the Liberation Front tab. They are, after all, the main focus for our operations. What symbol do you think they're trying to send? I believe they're trying to prove the vulnerability of long-assumed intangible evils in the world, which, such as weapon manufacturers and war profiteers. Reckless and indiscriminate destruction and violence can never be a legitimate form of protest, but these war profiteers are just the natural result of government funding and financing. They're not the problem. I agree, fewer weapons in the world can only be a positive things, all things considered. Okay, so they agreed with that. When they settled on this course of action, I am certain that that was the conclusion the Liberation Front members came to as well. Why choose this place? Why this specific factory? I cannot see a symbolic reason behind this. What's your opinion of the Liberation Front? Their methods are criminal and their members are often misguided and deluded. They do manage to effectively point out systemic flaws, though, so you do have some like for them, or at least some I don't know the word I'm looking for. You may not like them, but you admit that they are efficient at what they do. Who's your favorite Liberation Front member? Go. Oh, they didn't like that. For me, the Liberation Front is not exactly a sports league in which I have to play a favorite, which I have a favorite player. We're gonna have to redo this for sure, because I am not getting anywhere with this. Maybe I should... No, he won't talk about his personal matters. Discuss the Liberation Front. You feel this attack is more than just an example of terrorism? Well, it is terrorism, yes. These functional military equipment's currently stored inside. Aha, there we go. There always is. We manufacture and ship equipment constantly. Is any equipment missing? No, not to my knowledge. We constantly keep an extremely close watch on our stock. Everything was in place when the evacuation happened. This is a failure. Some personal questions about you, sir. What other businesses do you own and operate? Factory is my main investment. Why not invest in a more ethical business venture? Our operations are perfectly legal and we have cooperated transparently with government inspections. Take your ethical concerns to your lawmakers, my friend. Just because it's illegal doesn't mean it's not immoral, don't you think? Lawmakers are often corrupt and the people are ignorant. You exploit that, so you play the rule or the game following the written rules because it's not up to you to write the rules. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's not immoral. Laws fail to defend the morals of society. Why have them in the first place? Getting a little more suspicious about you, sir. What makes this factory so profitable? Loyal customers out of the governments. We've made loyal customers out of the governments from over 40 countries. Isn't putting all your eggs in one basket a risky business venture? Not if the basket is insured and financed by the state, my friend. Okay, sure. How do you make your wealth, sir? I leverage the wealth I inherited into safe long-term investments. There really is no secret here. So rich kids get even richer by building tools that help rich countries kill poor people in poor countries? Perhaps politics is not your field, my friend. Okay, so he didn't really appreciate that very well. Life sure would be rosy with your kind of money, King. Can't say I disagree, my friend. Work hard and prosper. I'm not getting anywhere. I'm really not getting anywhere. We have no logs of any access. Could the security system have been built from the start with a backdoor? No, absolutely not. What kind of damage can we expect if the place blows? There's no danger to the world outside, as the building is more than capable of containing the blast. The world inside, however, what is most important is for your employees to not be left unemployed. What's most important is for your assets to be rebuilt with minimal costs on your side. What's more important is for these terrorists to be caught, sir. Justice and retribution above all else, isn't it, my friend? You're talking very strangely, sir. Well, I'm glad that there's at least a chance for an honest business to be rebuilt. Yes, insurance should also help. Are there any dangerous explosives inside? Many explosive things inside, my friend. Nothing to worry about, though. In a world in which your industry has a bad rep, isn't it a PR miracle to become the victim of a vicious terrorist attack? Okay, so people don't like you because you're a weapons manufacturer, but because even worse people attacked you, somehow people will like you a little bit? We're failing this miserably. My friend, do people even feel pity for movie villains? No. Our animal side loves hurting the enemy, especially when they're down. Why do you think the Liberation Front chose this time to do a victimless attack? I don't know, my friend. Maybe they realize it's a better way to win people's hearts. Would the Liberation Front win your hearts with this attack? I think you're in a better position to answer that, my friend. Would it win your heart? An attack against capitalism is always something I get behind. An attack on the military-industrial complex is usually welcome. Of course not. I would never condone violence no matter the cause. I'm always up for a bit of violence and explosions. Let's go for the attacking against the military-industrial complex and see how he feels about that. Oh, he did not like that. The same business that keeps our country safe and civilized? But that answers my question. Okay, yeah, we really need to redo this whole thing. We really needed to redo this whole thing, like, right now. But maybe I'll see what other options we have before we redo that. Like, I'll play the timeout and see what happens. Let's talk about the symbolism of this attack. Of course, my friend, after all, my factory is about to explode. Do you feel this attack is a symbol against the government? Do you feel like this attack is a symbol against capitalism? Do you feel this symbol is attack is a symbol against war? That's the beauty of symbolism, my friend. It can mean anything. I think it's a protest against the government and its practices when dealing with the military. Okay, so it's a government, anti-government thing. I don't know, King. The government might be bullying you, might be buying, but you're selling the weapons. I think the guilt is split here. We all know oligarchs like you keep the government politicians in their pockets. If the government is corrupt, it's because you're corrupting it. The government has created this demand for weapons and conflict artificially to keep people dependent and obedient. Let's anti-oligarchy him. Oh, you really don't like that. And the poor little senators just can't help themselves. Is that it? Come on, my friend. Be serious. I'm certain you're the one behind this. Admit it. That's absurd. You don't know, my friend. Don't succumb to panic. Well, I am panicking, sir. What's it like to work there? For me or for the others? As Chief of Security, I do enjoy many privileges. It's not something I could say about all the employees here. How does it make you feel to know your job is protecting an establishment that creates devices of suffering and death? I didn't like that very much. People kill people, not guns. My work ensures that whoever gets their hands on these weapons is traceable and can be held accountable for their use. If we don't manage to solve this, will you lose your job? If this is due to my oversight, I will surely step down from my position. This was your fault, not your oversight. You don't need to step down if you're in jail. Yes, I agree. If it was your oversight, the honorable thing to do would be to step down. These terrorists trick the police repeatedly. This incident does not mean you are not competent. What if we do that one? No, you don't like it. That is exactly what it means. Oh, so he honestly seems pretty legit. Can I ask him that question again? Are there substances inside we have to worry about? Our storage facility are made to contain any possible chemical spill from causes up to and including airstrikes. I wouldn't worry about it. You're talking about the auditor. You really want to push it on the auditor, huh? There was an audit conducted on our security systems which revealed and exposed many elements. A skilled hacker could have exploited the system during that time. I'm sorry, Tab. I have to come back to you. Let's ask your personal questions. The time pressure and the dire consequences of our potential failure makes this topic quite inopportune, I believe. How do you feel about the one being interrogated for change? What made you want to join the police force? Have you ever been in touch with your family recently? Does not fitting well within the gender binary make you depressed? Let's not ask that question. That is definitely not. Do you like being on the task force? Because I personally think that you are an invaluable member of the team, and I will do my utmost and I'll let go of you. Having my efforts recognized brings psychological satisfaction. Yes, the work is both professional and personally rewarding. Some more questions, please. Don't you find it suspicious that the LF targeted a factory? We've already asked that. As any officers should, I recognize 3 possible scenarios: coincidence, an attempt at getting us targeted by internal affairs, or an actual case of corruption within the department. I don't think you really appreciated that very much. How could they set up a bomb in the factory without anyone knowing? Multiple ways. With security under their control, they've been virtually invisible. How do we spin this to the press? I generally believe we should give as accurate as assessment of the situation as possible. Maybe you can tell me what you had in mind and I can give you my opinion. I think we should praise the Liberation Front for not trying to cause any human victims. I think we should tell them that we suspected the factory could have been targeted because it might have sold weapons to dictators. We should also say that we will open an investigation into this. I think we should tell them that from now on we will double our efforts to eliminate the Liberation Front. Okay, I agree. We should not spin it anyway. We should just tell the truth. Okay, let's go with that one. I agree. Okay, well, we're definitely going to fail this one. Absolutely, definitely going to fail this one. What are your guiding principles when it comes to doing business? I don't think we asked that one. Strong foundation, never leave a penny on the table, and always have an exit strategy. What's your exit strategy for this, sir? What do you mean by exit strategy? Why do you need one? Allowing yourself the financial flexibility to redirect capital towards a more profitable long-term endeavors. What do you mean by never leaving a penny on the table? Financial opportunities, and I mean real opportunities, are few and far between. If you catch the wave, ride it like your life depends on it. What do you mean by strong foundation? If you have enough initial capital, you can get the technology, the people, the contracts, and gain a large competitive edge. If you start out small, if you try to start small, you die. Okay. Isn't that how we got to corporations having their fingers in so many pies? Isn't that still meritocratic, since they are actually offering the best products? Isn't that what leads to worker abuse and exploitation? Isn't that just because predatory capitalists like you don't invest in small business, but simply buy them out? Isn't that how we get worker abuse? Oh, he really doesn't like that. Not at all. The largest investors usually pay the best and allow top experts to flourish and put their good skills to use. Alright, just run me out of time, please. And interrogation failed. You couldn't stop the bombing in time, resulting in a removal from the task force. Alright, let's retry. Let's try to butter up this guy. I think he's really, honestly, I don't like him. I don't like him at all. But let's try to, like, he didn't like it when we were saying bad things about capitalism. So let's try to push him and let's try to butter him up. Hey, so you just saw me fail this interrogation. And I actually went through it again a second time and kind of failed that one too. So I am not going to show you that. I'm going to cut that out. You won't have seen it. And we made a little bit of progress in trying to figure out how people respond. And then because I still failed the second time, I kind of looked up some more hints online, and I have a better idea of how this should go. So let's try again. Let's go ahead and bring everybody in. Hello, Mr. King. So we know that you are a rich oligarch and that you like your money, and you don't like it when we talk bad about you or the arms industry, or we try to say anything very anti-capitalist. So let's start up. Let's just be very congenial to you. Good afternoon, Mr. King. Yes, my friends. Yes, hello, my friend. Let's try to butter you up a little bit. Let me ask a few personal questions about you, sir. I value my privacy very much. I assume a few questions won't do much harm. No, of course no. Of course not. No, no, no. Tell me about your guiding principles, sir. A strong foundation, never leave a penny on the table. Yeah, what do you mean by a strong foundation? If you have enough initial capital, you can get the technology people and the contracts. Yep, if you start out small, you die. So you need money to make money. So, we want to butter you up. So let's say, isn't that still meritocratic? And you liked that, yes. Creates increases in quality and productivity. That's the trade-off. Of course, yes. What do you mean about never leaving a penny on the table? Get to the wave, write it like your life depends on it. Yes, yes, yes. What do you need? What do you mean by an exit strategy? Allow yourself to financial flexibility to redirect capital. So yeah, have lots of money. So that's your idea. How did you make your wealth, sir? You leverage the wealth you inherited. Yep. What other businesses might you have? The factory is your main investment. Isn't it risky putting all your eggs in one basket? Not if the basket is insured and financed by the state, my friend. There are many countries with many armies, hence many baskets to put eggs in. So yeah, you can like fight. I mean, even if people are at war, you can play both sides and sell your goods to both sides. Of course, it's a very well-known arms runner strategy. What makes this place so profitable? You have loyal customers out of governments from 40 countries, and we won't ask about the ethical business ventures. We won't ask about this one because this will make him upset about rich people making poor or killing poor people. How do you feel about being a weapons manufacturer? Does this make him upset? It does not make him upset. One would be foolish to attach morals to a tool, my friend. And yeah, you sure have a lot of money, King. Can't say I disagree, my friend. Yes, yes, yes. Tell me about the situation. How come the perimeter was empty? I don't understand all the details. How do the security codes work? I'm not an expert. Is there any other way to access the codes without them appearing in the logs? No, absolutely not. This should be the only way for security reasons, my friend. What kind of damage can we expect? There's no danger to the world outside as the building is more than capable of containing a blast. The world inside, however, and this is where we want to go for the money. We'll talk about the money because he loves money. What's more important is for your assets to be rebuilt with minimal costs on your side. Yes, he loves that. Well, my friend, if the government can help with something, this surely would be it. Well, I'm glad there's a chance for an honest business to be rebuilt. Insurance should also help. Yes, so the insurance, you say? Is there any dangerous explosives inside? And you're going to say, yes, there's lots of explosives. Let's talk about the facility. What kind of weaponry do you produce? Who are your clients? You're going to tell me that it's a bunch of governments. Is there any military equipment inside? We have a large shipment due tomorrow stored in the pickup area. How many people are employed? You're going to say 100 per shift. Yep, yep, yep. So your factory is insured. Does that insurance cover terrorist attacks? Absolutely. There's a whole insurance industry focused on weapons manufacturers or military contractors. Even if you get insurance money, I'm sure that it's still hard to see something you've built crumble like this. I'm glad you'll at least be able to rebuild if we don't stop this attack. Let's go for this one. I mean, it's a toss-up between I'm glad you'll be able to rebuild if we don't stop this attack, or even if you get the insurance money, I'm sure it'll be hard to see. Let's go for this one. That opened him up a little bit more. Yes. It is the way it is. We will rebuild. We will recover. We will prosper once more, I say. Who do you think will be the inside man to help the Liberation Front? You're going to point me to Tab. Yes, you're getting a little... You're less afraid of me. let's talk about the Liberation Front. What do you know about their operations? Have you ever been in contact with them? Let's talk about the symbolism of this attack. Do you feel like this is an attack against the government? Oh, he really loves that. I think so, friend. The government is our main client, and I think that's what they are protesting against. Why do you think the Liberation Front chose this time to do a victimless attack? I don't know, my friend. Maybe they realized that it's a better way to win people's hearts. Would the Liberation Front win your heart with this attack? I think you're in a better position to answer that, friend. Would it win your heart? An attack against capitalism is something I can always get behind. An attack against the military-industrial complex is usually welcome. Of course not. I would never condone violence no matter the cause. I'm always up for a bit of violence and explosions. So we've kind of like chose all of these options at one point, and I don't remember which one. Let's just go wild and say, yeah, I love violence and explosions. Oh yeah, he loves that. A fiery spirit, eh? And here I thought the system would have ground that out of you by now. Oh yes. Oh yes. You have this place insured and you're waiting to collect after it blows up. How did you get the security access? So I know, because I cheated and looked up a solution, that we need to press him about that security access. And in fact, we may need to ask him the same question again. Like, is there any way to access the codes without them appearing in the logs? See, now we get this new dialogue. And this is not something I'm used to, because normally I'm used to once you've asked something to someone, they kind of lock out, and you can just keep clicking the same button again, and it'll just keep telling you the same answer. But because he likes us now, he'll tell us a little bit more. Keep this between us, friend. But of course I installed a private access backdoor on my phone. It's more secure than the factory one anyway, paid top dollars for it. So you admit you have your own special backdoor access to the security mainframe? Yes, my friend, I do, for convenience sake, you see. Why'd you keep this a secret from your security team? I'd never hear the end of it if they knew. It's my property to do with as I wish. Who knows about this backdoor? No one, just you and me. I'd very much appreciate it if we kept it so, my friend. Why do you need this level of access? I enjoy connecting remotely to the cameras and keeping an eye on the place, you know, like some people do at home. I have some more questions about the king key. That must be his back door. Yeah, that's what he's calling it. Please don't call it that, he says. Okay, let's talk about something else. You had the means to do this as well as the coverage of your insurance policy. You did this, admit it. Let's pop to Steve. And let's ask him a little bit about that back door. I'm happy to be working with another professional in this case. I'd like to discuss the details of the current situation. Well, let's ask him some questions about security chief capabilities. If you don't manage to solve this, will you lose your job? If it was your oversight, the honorable thing would be to step down. So we know that increases his like for us a little bit, because we've done it before. At least maybe you didn't see it. Maybe I cut that out, but we did it before. I'd like to talk about the current situation. What sort of security do you have? What about the access codes? How do they work? Do you think I will just lay down the blueprint of our entire security network? Who has the access codes? Are these codes the only way to access the mainframe? Absolutely, just like the car keys are the only intended way to get into your car. You said the intended way. Well, do you know King admits he installed a private backdoor? Did you know about this? What? No, I had no idea. I would never have agreed to such a risky thing. It defeats the purpose of access logs. Exactly. Were you aware that if the bomb goes off, the factory is insured? Your job is to prevent damage. You don't care about what happens. Like, you don't care about that because you're going to stop it anyways. So let's press King. You had the means to do this as well as the coverage of your insurance policy. You did this. Admit it. There we go. Yes, my friend, your deduction skills are quite impressive. I did this, but the revelation changes nothing. With this act, the world will see that the Liberation Front has... But... Shut... I just... But... It has the ability to strike deeply at what has once seemed untouchable, a radical message that will finally tip the scales and set in motion the... They say loudly, eyes wide and fixed on you. The unstoppable force of social upheaval. Sacrifices must be made for the benefit of the new order, and the short-term losses are acceptable for... If you don't stop this now, you will rot in jail forever. Help me, and there's a deal for you on the table. I understand, King, but trust me, this place exploding would only do the front more harm than good. Fuck this ideology bullshit. That's your own property blowing up there that you put so much heart and effort into. Let's I mean, we've been trying to butter him up. Let's push back against the front. I understand, King, but trust me, this would only do more harm than good. Oh, that did not work out for us. No, I won't fall for this. What could you possibly know about the front, let alone what's good and bad for it? What do you hope to accomplish with this explosion? That's the beauty of symbolism, my friend. It can mean anything. Messages without words are vague enough so to be spun in the right way. Why target your own factory? It was the easiest target the front identified. It's just a short-term sacrifice I have to do. We must struggle. We must all struggle if we want to achieve the goal of toppling the broken order. People are easy to tell others to tear something down if they haven't built it themselves, aren't they? The utopia the Liberation Front is working towards is a lie, and you've been fooled. But yeah, I mean, let's play into his hands. You know, yes, we all must struggle if we want to achieve the goal of toppling the broken order. Yes, that's right. I'm only trying to do my part. I think he didn't open up to us, but I think he got a little more afraid. How long have you been working with the Liberation Front? Well, my friend, who keeps track? I haven't seen you around Cafe Frigi. That's odd. Oh, I haven't seen you there either. It's a nice place. So now, because we had that interaction with the informer, you know, we know about their hangout, so we know that so it's kind of opened up that, hey, I'm one of you. What Liberation Front pod are you in? He's probably gonna dislike that. Oh, he got a little angry. Ah, you know about the pods. Impressive and worrisome. Did you get the explosives off the black market? It would take a special kind of numbskull to pay for explosives to destroy his own property. Especially if you make armaments, you probably have everything there. You don't need to pay for them. Don't you think that even in the utopia the Liberation Front wants to build, the more charismatic will still be able to gain power by manipulating the collective? I'm not worried. I'm quite charismatic. Yeah, so you think you can be the new ruler. You really believe this will make people angry at the government? Well, with all the discussion it will cause, it will be the only logical conclusion. Lady Luck says violence invites interpretation and judgment. You'll be seen as a monster, a psychopath, like Linda Bailey is seen now. Let's talk about Lady Luck. We're trying to get into his... We're trying to seem like we're on his side, so we mentioned Lady Luck. Maybe that will... You read Lady Luck? People are smart enough. They will interpret this correctly. So it's not a... Let's discuss your involvement with the Liberation Front. That's just takes us right back to that. King, you have to stop this explosion right now. I really don't see why I would do such a thing. The plan is set in motion, because otherwise you'll be imprisoned for life on terrorism charges. The front doesn't need this to push its message, King. Remember what Lady Luck would say. Even if you're right, there's no alternative now. It's either this or the front loses another member for nothing. Crime doesn't have a purpose, King. Stop rationalizing for one, or your struggle will be appreciated and remembered, but this is about something bigger. Something bigger? What is that? What are you saying? God damn it, King. If that bomb blows up, I'll lose my job and I won't be able to help the front anymore. Oh, snap. That's the angle we've been doing this whole time. I've totally been missing out. I'm like, why would they believe us? Like, why would they tell all these things to a person they know is a police officer that's going to get them arrested? But we're playing... How can I have missed this all along? We're pretending as if we are a front a Liberation Front planted member in the police, and because they don't know about it because they have this whole deal with pods and they don't know who's who. Of course. I'll lose my job and I won't be able to help the front anymore. From where I stand, you losing your job will only help the front. Ah, so he wasn't convinced about that. My orders come from Lady Luck herself, you fool. She has devised a grander plan or safer one that doesn't require this explosion. What? But you're part of the Liberation Front? What operation? What are you talking about? Yes, I'm part of the Liberation Front. I can prove it too. Call Benno Wise. Tell him to leave his uncle's place right now. The police are about to grab him. Okay, I believe you. I texted Benno to get away. Get me to a computer with access to the internet and I'll shut down the bomb. Don't let us down. That's a good twist. Like, I can't believe that I was following that path without even knowing what I was doing. Report my findings. Achievement unlocked, disarming choices. Factory secured, we're getting closer to their leadership. Hello, sir. Good job in there. Good job to you as well, Chief Anderson, because you're the boss. We should flow up all kudos to you. That's how the system works. Before you get to the press release for this one, though, the factory's covered by national security confidentiality rules. Word the press release in such a way that keeps obscured how dangerous things actually got. Okay, so you're asking me to be a little evasive. That's cool. So it's interesting to know, like, we didn't even have to talk to Tab at all, and we didn't really have to talk to that other guy, Steve, at all. We could be pressed King 100% almost. In order to address public concerns, ensure transparency, address public concerns regarding the police force's deployment of several squads, a few officers, the Peace and Stability Special Unit, you know, we'll go with several squads, because if we just say a few police officers and people have records that it was a lot more than that, then it's going to look bad. So we'll have to, like, be vague, but also give them nuggets of truth. Following an anonymous tip, a request by a concerned employee, common procedure, anonymous tip, a request by a concerned employee, forces arrived at the scene in order to assess if security standards were in order, investigate a potential theft, escort a transport convoy. Well, let's go assess if security standards were in order. No, let's go escort a transport convoy. Maybe that's too vague. Maybe that's too much of a lie. When they arrived at the scene, officers found the factory empty, and Aaron King, the CEO, as well as Steve Meridian, Chief of Security, were contacted in order to clarify the situation. They explained that the factory was not operational that day as the employees were on vacation. The production lines were under renovation. Yeah, production lines were under renovation. This clear case of miscommunication was quickly resolved, and the officers left the scene. We asked people to avoid any unfounded panic mongering and seek dialogue with the authorities for further clarification. Mr. King is being questioned with regards to an unrelated investigation. Mr. King has been arrested in relation to an unrelated investigation. Mr. King is being held with suspicion of being a Liberation Front member. Let's just say Mr. King is being questioned. And, let's say excessive security. Let's go back for excessive security standards were in order. Their production lines were under renovation, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I mean, that seems real dumb. I hate this. I hate everything we've selected, but let's just continue with it. There you go. Send that out on the wires. Pick an old memory. Alright, so let's go back and look through here. Speed Demon, we have more time to interrogate, but we can't access the files. Intimidating Presence, we're not going to use that one. Scholar of Anatomy, we cannot use that one. Framing Artist, we're not going to use that one. Unstable Genius, that one sounds interesting. Good Host, we're not going to get people drunk. Nerves of steel. Your psyche holds up well. I mean, I don't know what that means. All aboard. We can't do that because that's waterboarding people. Max brutality. We can't do that. Scholar of statistics. You have a deep awareness of statistical likelihoods and employ them well in conversations. Profiling is a numbers game. Double agent. The Liberation Front has things right. They may not do things in the way they should, but they're right about how the world needs fixing. No kings, no destinies, strike back. So we can legitimately become a Liberation Front member with this option? That's weird. Messiah complex. You are the cure for the plague that is a Liberation Front. This horseman of the apocalypse will be felled. I am justice. No, these are all like real freaking weird. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go with Scholar of Statistics. We're playing like the smart guy, right? So let's play the smart guy to the end. Though I am curious about these options, but I'm not gonna choose them because that's a little out there for me. There we go. Continue. All right, we have $4,000. What do we want to do? There's not a lot of things on the board. You are 100% contact informer, so you can 100% do that. Mordecai. I mean, negotiate with the DA just gives me more. With Anton Drasko having ended up jailed in the same facility as Fred Ennis, the latter has been targeted by repeated attacks instigated by the former. Ennis has offered us additional information in exchange for obtaining from the district attorney a transfer to a new facility. So that sounds interesting. That's 75%. Tab, you're like still really low motivation here. Tab, just go home. Just go home. Joseph. All right, so you can negotiate with the DA 90%. So let's do that. Joseph, work with the DA 90%. Actually, let's see. What else can Mordecai do? Mordecai could do a lot of other things. So Joseph, negotiate with the DA. Jennifer, contact the informer. Mordecai, work with the DA. Have them pay damages for facilitating terror. Yeah, let's just get money. Buy the book. I don't know what that does. Volunteer in other departments. Formulate budget request. Let's just have you volunteer in other departments. I don't know what that does, but you just do that. Let's order an HR report so we get to see these numbers next time. Let's do a little R&R team building. Let's do some therapy. And let's give some bonuses. We're gonna go down to $1,000. All right, let's continue. And as always, we'll continue out to the point of starting the next interrogation. We've brought in another reporter for you to talk to. Miss Becker handled the technicalities in the last interview. This time, Miss Lisa Nguyen Holst is looking to write more of a human interest story. I want to learn all about the team that caught the twin bombers. Shall we? Fuck off out of here, both of you. Get out of my office. I'm sorry, we're getting too close to the leadership of the Liberation Front for me to be spending time doing interviews. I don't want to give that away. Very well, let's sit down. Shall we? What do you mean by the twin bombers? First things first, leading this investigation must have put great pressure on you. How have you been handling it? I'm a professional. Part of my job is handling the pressure to leadership. No one can be ready for something like this, so I'm adjusting and learning as we go. It's been hard, of course, but I have a great team backing me up. Yeah, let's talk about, let's give all the kudos to our team. That's what a good boss should do. You've been the face of this operation, but there's a whole team behind you. Let's talk about them for a bit. Of course. Jennifer Reyes, expert psychologist and criminal profiler. What does she bring to the table? Jennifer's insight into the criminal mind allows us to predict their movements and better understand their objectives. When you're dealing with the people we are, it takes a specialist to comprehend the distorted way their minds work. Jennifer focuses her efforts on building a rapport with the people we investigate. Without empathy, there can be no dialogue. Let's go that one. Sounds cool. Mordecai Fisher, an officer with a long history of fighting organized crime. What's he about? He's our boots on the ground man, an excellent detective, and a better tracker than a bloodhound. Mordecai has experience with underground criminal investigation or organizations and is crucial to follow up on leads and getting results. Mordecai knows what the weak spots in a criminal organization are, and he knows best how to use them to our advantage. He's a boots on the ground man. Like in the movies. Cool. Tab Thompson, analyst and technical expert. How are their skills valuable? Tab's insight allows us to make connections we would have never seen. Tab's analytical skills are very important when combing through databases and files, making sure we don't miss anything. Tab's procedural knowledge enables us to use all legal tools at our disposal, hitting the front with everything we've got without wasting time muddled in bureaucracy. Tab's insights allow us to make connections we never would have seen. Also, I just noticed you're wearing Scrabble tiles for earrings. If anyone is familiar with like the Christmas Land book and TV shows on AMC, there's a character that also wears it's not called Christmas Land, it's called Nosferatu, but Christmas Land is what came to mind. They wear Scrabble tiles for earrings. Recently, Joseph Ward has joined your team. What can this old dog teach you? History repeats itself, and Joseph has already been through a similar situation once already. He's the one we turn to when we're stuck. Joseph's experience is invaluable when tough decisions need to be made. Joseph is not a dog. He's a very competent police officer, as good as any of us. There you go. I'll put down that he's great. What sort of work dynamic do you have? Everyone's getting along. Yeah, everyone's getting along. That's true. We've had our disagreements, of course, but it's just a reflection of everyone's commitment and involvement. We're a team. We have a job to do. We're not here to make friends. After what we've been together, I must say we're very close. We trust and respect each other. Ah, neat. You've had to work fast, jumping from crisis to crisis. What's your secret? I don't let myself get bogged down in red tape. I make sure we're always well prepared. We only have one shot to do this. No do-overs. Oh, we've been doing a lot of do-overs. We just you haven't seen it, because we time travel. I've learned to trust my instinct and never hesitate when I have to act. There's no do-overs. When you know lives are on the line, what keeps you focused and sane? I take it one day at a time, solve what I have to in front of me first, the knowledge that I've done my best. I try not to think about it too much, that sort of stress ruins you. Just one day at a time. Good, good. What's your approach when talking to front members? I try to understand where they're coming from and to show them their mistakes. If their survival instinct kicks in, they'll become cooperative very fast. Fear is our most effective tool. With diligent questioning, they quickly start contradicting themselves. That's where I catch them. You know, I think we've been doing like that kind of empathetic thing and playing that we're their friend. So I try to understand where they're coming from. Have you ever found yourself agreeing with something a front member said? Ooh, what a question. Absolutely not. Let's not forget what these people are. Of course, they're guilty for their actions, not their ideas. Sometimes, yes, it's part of my job to use the most persuasive approach. There you go. That's very PR speech. Let's say something without saying anything at all. Many of those you've put behind bars had regular lives before. Do you ever think about that? No, I think about their crimes and those they've hurt. Yes, and it shows how insidious the front's propaganda can be. Yes, of course, these people are everywhere. Our neighbors, our family, our friends. It worries me. Yes, it shows how insidious the front's propaganda can be. Last question. Do you feel proud of what you've accomplished so far? Yes, we've done good work here. Pride has nothing to do with it. I've had to do things I'm not proud of, but they were necessary. Yeah, we've done good work here. Okay, well, that's it. Thank you for all of this, then. Hello, Chief. I've been protecting you because you're clearly getting results. What have you been protecting me from, Chief? But push has come to shove. There's an internal investigation running against you. For what? We haven't done anything. We've been a perfectly good cop. We're currently reviewing documents, taking testimonies. Be ready to be interrogated before this internal investigation's conclusion. The IA asshole running it seems dead set on burying you, so be careful. Boss, we're heading to Hannigan's. Coming? No, can't do. I'm supposed to do this charity dinner thing. Have fun? Sure. Go on ahead. I'll catch up and we can play some more weird games. Later that night, Hannigan's Pub. I have one for you, fearless leader. Oh, Joseph, you're getting in on this too? Kiss, marry, kill one of your younger members of your team. No, this is not appropriate, Joseph. If this doesn't offend anyone, that is. Heh, it's fine. Jen, Morty, and Tab. This is not cool, Joseph. I would walk out on this. I would not play this game. Where's the leave the pub, you jerk option? Okay, let's see. I'll be kissing Jen. Can't say no to that warmth. I have to kiss Tab. I suspect much technique can be learned in the process. Kissing Mordecai seems like he'd hold me with respectful safety. God, I hate this. I hate these options. Let's just push our way through. I hate this whole situation. I'm kissing Tab. Sorry, Tab. Ha ha ha. I'd marry Jen. Seems like she can educate the heck out of kids. Marry Morty. Nice trophy husband. I'm killing you, Morty. I'm sorry I'm killing you. And unfortunately kill Morty, but only after we've taken out the front. Sorry, Morty. Fun. Say, Jen, have you told Joseph the story with you and the duck in college? No, so it goes like this. Second year college in my dorm. Hey, I need to hear the rest of the story about the duck. Hey, boss, before you head home, I'm sorry I said I was going to kill you, Mordecai. You know, that was just a thing. It was between dudes. Wanted to talk to you out here, away from the others. Heard about the internal affair investigation thing you need to deal with tomorrow. Know this Hall guy. Seen him operate before. Rumor is he's a tough cookie. And look, I just want to know. Is there actually any dirt on you? Cut any corners? Did any nasties? Just give it to me straight. Mordecai. The way you're asking me this leads me to believe that you're in on it. Are you an informant to the IA? Because I don't appreciate this line of questioning, Mordecai. I've been really doing my best to be by the book, Morty. It's all clean. Results come first. Stopping these psychos, that means cutting some corners, ethically speaking. I've done some bad things, Morty, but they're on me. No need for you to take on any of that load. No, it's all clean, Morty. Okay, I'm with you then. Thanks for checking in, Morty. I have this. This Hall business is mine to deal with. Don't worry about it. Focus on your own work. Yeah, thanks, Morty. Good luck with all, boss. Good night. Success, 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 success. All right. We contacted the informer so we can have another sit down. The DA has accepted this transfer. We're seeing Fred for his promised new information. The department has tried to be very helpful with our support. We're very thankful for our support. Tab went home but couldn't stop thinking about the case. Authorities really like us. Press kind of dislikes us for some reason. Popularity stayed the same. What really happened at the plant? Yeah, they didn't like this, huh? I'm not reading it. And I'll probably go ahead and end the episode here because I don't want to sit through a long discussion with what's her face, the informant, and these other people. So it's went long enough. I'm gonna already have to just smash 2 episodes or 2 recordings together into one. So let's hope that if I end it here that the game saves every screen you go to. But so for now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and hope to see you again next time.